The voice was soft, too soft for the chaos of the busy roadside market. The man on the roaring Harley slowed down instinctively, glancing sideways. A little girl, maybe 8 or 9, stood barefoot beside an old, rusted bicycle. Her hair was tied in a messy ponytail, her eyes far too tired for her age. Dust clung to her cheeks, but there was something unshakably pure in her gaze. For a second, the biker didn't move. Cars honked behind him, vendors shouted, life went on, but his heart had stopped right there. He pulled over. "Say that again, kid?" he asked, his deep voice roughened by the wind and road. She swallowed hard, clutching the handlebars as if afraid he'd take the bike and not pay. "Please, sir, buy my bike. Mommy hasn't eaten in 2 days." That single line cracked something open inside him, something he thought had been sealed long ago. He wasn't just a biker. His name was Ryan Malik, leader of the Iron Wolves, a group known for their roaring engines, tattoos, and tempers. But what no one really knew was that behind his cold face, Ryan carried a wound deeper than any scar on his body. Years ago, his little sister had died in his arms, starving, sick, and scared, because he hadn't made it home in time. He'd sworn never to care again. Never to feel, but now this girl, this trembling child with pleading eyes and a broken bike, she looked exactly like his sister. He crouched down beside her. "What's your name?" "Layla," she whispered. "And your mommy?" "She's at home. She was crying last night. I tried to make her smile. But we don't have food. I thought, if someone buys my bike, maybe she can eat." Her words hit like punches. Ryan looked at the old bicycle. It was barely worth anything. Its tires were flat, chain half broken, the paint peeling like old skin. Yet the girl looked at it like it was her treasure. "How much?" he asked. Layla hesitated, unsure of what a bike should cost. "Maybe 500 rupees. That's enough for bread and milk." Ryan pulled out a thick bundle of cash from his pocket and handed it to her. She stared, wide-eyed. "Sir, that's too much." "It's the right price," he said quietly. "Now take me to your mother." The small alley she led him through was narrow, filled with the smell of damp clothes and frying oil. At the end stood a small shack made of tin and wood. When Layla pushed the curtain aside, a woman sat on the floor, her head resting on her knees. "Mommy," Layla said softly, "I sold the bike. Now we can buy food." The woman's head jerked up, confusion crossing her face as she saw Ryan standing there, towering, leather jacket, scars, and all. Ryan nodded politely. "Your daughter's brave. But ma'am, this isn't charity. I just wanted to see who raised such a fighter." Tears filled the woman's eyes. "We don't need pity, sir. We'll be fine." But the tremor in her voice said otherwise. Ryan didn't argue. He quietly walked out, leaving behind an envelope full of cash. That night, he couldn't sleep. The memory of that little girl pushing her broken bicycle to survive wouldn't fade. He'd seen hunger before, but never like this, so innocent, so undeserved. 2 days later, Layla saw a truck stop outside her street. The Iron Wolves had arrived. Neighbors whispered, peering through their windows. The loud engines fell silent, and Ryan stepped down. "Where's your mom, Layla?" he asked. The woman came out, nervous. Ryan smiled faintly. "Ma'am, I own a bike garage on Canal Road. I need someone to keep it clean, manage tea for the workers, small things. It pays weekly. You think you can handle that?" The woman covered her mouth, tears spilling freely. You'd give me a job?" "You earned it," he said. "And Layla, she's coming to school. My foundation will handle that." The girl's eyes lit up brighter than the sun. "Really?" "Yeah, kid. You're too smart to be selling broken bikes." Months passed. The little shack slowly turned into a home. Layla went to school in her neatly pressed uniform, always waving at the passing bikers from the Iron Wolves who treated her like their little sister. One day, Ryan brought her a new bicycle, shiny red with silver ribbons on the handles. Try not to sell this one, he teased. Layla giggled. Only if mommy ever stops eating. They both laughed, and for the first time in years, Ryan felt something lift inside him, like the ghost of his past had finally been buried. But one evening, Layla's mother didn't show up at work. Ryan went looking and found her at the old alley, standing before a group of men arguing over eviction papers. A rich builder wanted to tear down the street for a new plaza. The families living there were being pushed out. Ryan's jaw tightened. Who's behind this? He growled. The woman hesitated. The same man who took everything from us before. Ryan frowned. What do you mean? She finally told him. Years ago, her husband had been a loyal mechanic working under a wealthy garage owner, until he exposed that owner's corruption. The man ruined their lives, burned their garage, and left them penniless. Her husband had died trying to rebuild. The man's name, Zamir Khan. Ryan's hands clenched. Zamir Khan. His old rival. The same man who'd betrayed him years ago in business, taking away his first garage and nearly destroying his crew. Now it all made sense. Fate had brought him to this family for a reason. That night, the iron wolves roared through the city like thunder. They parked outside Zamir Khan's gleaming showroom, the walls covered with glass and pride. Ryan walked in, calm but fierce. I hear you're throwing poor families out to build your empire, he said coldly. Including one with a little girl named Layla. Zamir sneered. You've gone soft, Malik. Why care? They're nobodies. Ryan's voice dropped. She sold her bike to feed her mother. That nobody has more honor than you ever will. He threw a folder on the table, evidence of Zamir's old crimes, corruption, and fraud. Here's my deal, Ryan said. Withdraw your eviction. Or this goes to the media tomorrow morning. Zamir's face paled. You wouldn't. Try me. The next day, the eviction notices disappeared. The entire neighborhood celebrated, but none more than Layla and her mother. Ryan stood quietly at the edge, watching them laugh, his leather jacket glinting in the sunlight. Layla ran to him and hugged his leg. You saved our home. He smiled, ruffling her hair. No, kid. You did. You reminded me what real strength looks like. She looked up at him with that same innocent smile, the one that had stopped him on the road that day. Thank you, sir, she whispered. I'll never forget you. Ryan looked at the horizon, the sun dipping low, engines revving behind him. Neither will I, Layla, he said softly. Neither will I. And as he rode away, the sound of the iron wolves echoed through the streets, not as noise, but as a promise that somewhere in this cruel world, kindness still roared louder than pain.